meeting of June 25th, 2012 to order at 7:02 p.m. Everyone please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk call roll, please. Sturrett.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Cooper. Here. Bullock. Ballard.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Audie. Okay, everyone has the agenda in front of them. Are there any additions, deletions, or is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I think Trustee or Treasurer Dare wanted to add something that just came to her attention today.
The sewer investment fund,
I'm sorry?
moving the sewer investment fund?
Is that a new business then?
Yes,
What would you like the name of it to be?
moving the sewer investment fund.
Okay.
Let's keep it simple.
That is new business 3F then. Any other additions, deletions, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion by Mr. Sturrett. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Ballard. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any citizen comment on non-agenda items? Any citizen comments? Hearing none, we don't have any presentations tonight. Administrative reports. I'm assuming F&B report.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys have two of them this month because we had Memorial Day holiday, so we allowed them to just bypass it. You have the reports. As you can see, there was only one call out in 2 months. That's pretty good. The one call out was a power outage at, I think it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Dave can attest to that one. Remember, we talked about that when your house was leaking even, I think, that night. Yeah, not that night?
No.
Oh, okay.
And a test.
Anyway, we had one power outage and that was the only call out we had. The flows looked lower than normal. And Chuck, do you have anything else to add?
Not really, although we're attempting to clear up that DEQ inspection job list they gave us.
And they have been working hard on that. I don't know if it's included in your packets. There are a lot of smaller items on there. They're trying to get they have the floor cleaned, probably the first time in many years. They actually brought in an industrial floor cleaner. They're trying to really spruce it up a little bit to make it look a little nicer. So you're seeing a little bit of those dollar amounts come through. Okay?
Any questions for F&B? Hearing none, are there any other reports?
Yes, Madam President, on our Spencer Street reconstruction.
We have that under old business.
Oh, you want that? Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, we can give an
Thank
update
you.
then,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, and I have just one item.
yes.
We had placed an order for our receipt books through Doubleday, and when they came, I just told them to just duplicate my last order, which was usually 10 books. When they came, there was probably 50 books, and they say Township of Armada. So that's not costing us anything. I asked Peg today if the township if they could use them, and she said sure. So if nobody has any objections, I'm just going to donate them to the township office. Okay,
Perfect.
get some on hand.
All right, big
I mean, they
bucks.
didn't want them back because they were
No,
wrong.
we asked them, we said, we're not going to pay to ship these back to you. She said, no, don't do that. She said, we're just going to throw them away. You guys throw them away. So,
Sounds good.
Hey,
I told her, I said, next time the township needs them, tell them to duplicate their order, maybe they'll get some for us.
But with the size of this crate of them that's in there, I don't think we're going to need it for a long, long
No,
time.
I don't think so either. Anyone have any other administrative reports? Hearing none, moving to the consent agenda. It's the approval of the regular council meeting minutes of 6/11/12 and the payment of bills. Anything anyone wants pulled, or is there a motion?
I want to just bring to everybody's attention, you had new minutes. It just clarified something under the S2 grant. There was nothing else changed, but it just made it clearer. It's highlighted in your packet. It was on page 4.
Anything
would
anyone?
it be as amended then, or is it?
No,
as
it's
presented?
as presented. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that, in case they read them over the weekend.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve
Consent agenda.
approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Sturts. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Ballard. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Mr. Ballard, did you want to abstain for the minutes?
Yes, I will, thank you, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next agenda item is old business Spencer Street. Are there any public comments? Any public comments?
Do you guys want to hear?
Yes.
Okay, so far the project's on schedule, everything's going good. They plan on start paving this Friday or Saturday. Are there any questions?
I was impressed at how fast they got out there.
Yeah, it was round and just gone. It was the
Right.
street in the morning, it went to the street in the afternoon.
Yeah. So far,
Are you happy with their quality?
Yeah, they're doing a very good job.
Good.
Yeah,
Did you get a message from our office today?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, has that been
It's
taken
ta-
care of
yes.
already?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right.
I received 2 calls for action from 2 residents. One, I talked with Steve on, and that will be taken care of. And I'd like to talk to them, both of them. And he's taking a look at it, and they will be corrected. I will be contacting the residents probably tomorrow.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Perfect, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Next agenda item is new business, the S2 grant application. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, Sewer Commissioner Stewart, this is your agenda item.
My agenda item. I spent some time on the phone today with Jeff and with Scott and Steve from Giffords, trying to iron out the final things before tonight's meeting. No problems. We have, I gave you guys in the packet is the resolution and then some more explanation behind it, which is labeled sample. That is what we need to also review, is everything that's listed under sample. Just gives you what you're going to be doing for the next couple of years. So I do want everybody to make sure they look that through. I will also, we're not going to make a motion on this tonight. It's going to be delayed until the next meeting, because I would like to review, Steve just gave me the actual S2 grant application, and it's about 200 pages, so I will do my best to get through it by the next meeting. I just want to make sure, and then they're going to go over it again, and Scott and I may sit down, just to make sure it's what we are. You know, this is what he tried to do, or what Steve and Joe tried to do in a matter of a week or so. You know, some of you guys here have been on for 20-some years, you know this stuff. So I just want to make sure that it's what I know, at least, the plan to be and the system to be. But, and then we also have an S2 grant application, which I did not include for everybody, but it was emailed to me also today. But it does give the dollar amount and some of the restrictions, or not restrictions, but the requirements in future years. So I'd like to also get that to council. I don't want you guys making a quick decision on this without being fully informed. Dennis Ryan did receive the proposal from Giffords. That was the document you guys approved at the last meeting. And Dennis's response was, Michael, our S2 grant is available for this purpose, to allow municipalities to assess the condition of their infrastructure in grant form. I have reviewed the GFE proposals of June 8, 2012 and regard the scope of work as appropriate. I will fully support your grant application if it moves forward as outlined in the Giffords-Webster's proposal. As the grant proposal moves forward, our Lansing S2 SRF staff will provide further direction as necessary. We wanted to thank council and the fellow committee members for their efforts. So he's happy with what it is. It's meeting the violation items that he's talked about. I wanted to reiterate to you, and this came up in Jeff and I discussion today, that this is a long-term commitment in a way. When you approve this, you're saying now the village is going to try to do some improvements to the infrastructure and to the plant. So just be aware of that. It's not just, we can come in a month and say no to something. We do have that option, but then we could end up having to pay back the $194,000. So we seriously have to consider what Giffords is gonna find and to possibly look for funding to do those improvements.
And an 8% interest.
And 8%, yeah, thank you. So it is serious business here, but you were sewer commissioner, Steve, Lyle, Dave, I don't know if you were Marv.
No.
Obviously not Harry or Sherry, but there is I&I, the plant is aging, the actual old plant, bricks are falling off of it now. So this could be a good way to fund these improvements. I don't think they're unnecessary, I think they're needed. Nobody wants to commit money at this time, it's a very tough economic time, but we have to start doing some of this stuff.
And this project basically, I mean, from what I've read, it's a 90-10 split.
The grant is a 90-10 split, as long as within 3 years, we have a plan to do, they won't give a percentage, X percentage of the work defined in the study.
Okay.
They won't say how much you're, you know, if Giffords comes up with, let's just toss out $1 million, we might be able to get away with doing $500,000 worth of work. I don't know that. They will not tell me, and I can't tell you because I'd be lying. Would they accept $250,000 worth of work? Probably not. Do you have to do $1 million? They're saying, no, you don't have to do it all.
Somebody didn't eat dinner.
Well, until you,
But it could be a $2 million could be defined.
Well, I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of priority list, certain things that have to be done in a certain order. so.
Absolutely. It could be $2 million and maybe we have to do $1 million SRF loan. You know, I know it's hard to take, we just had that one drop off. But I can't tell you what they're gonna find, I don't know.
but yeah, I don't think you should throw any numbers out there because you don't know what they're gonna
And
find.
I absolutely don't.
Now, I did read in there where it says he can't get funding from any other source. Does that mean that we wouldn't be able to go to Morocco for some help? Because his big thing is nothing's an emergency. If this does find an emergency, would we still be available to use that type of funding?
I'm not sure that that's right. We can get funding from other sources.
Because
if
I
we
thought
put a
it read,
loan.
it said in there that we could.
Because we can go to the
Maybe it meant the
USDA.
10% then of it.
That might be.
I'm not sure. I thought I read in there
That
we
might
can't
be.
get funding from other sources, but I assumed it was for the improvements. I don't know.
Steve, do you know that answer?
Yeah, I think it
It's
was
fine.
the 10%.
Just the 10,
If I'm remembering correctly, I think that's
Okay.
what it was, but I'm not sure.
Because it said it in the packet and it just raised a red flag with
because to do
me.
the improvements, they are suggesting the SRF loan. I know I've talked to USDA. I believe it even says in here that we can use our private funds,
Okay.
our own funds.
All right, maybe they meant the 10% then
That could
when
very
I
well
read
be,
it.
but
Okay.
we have the fund balance to pay the 10%.
Yeah, I read that too. I kind of read it quickly. It sounded like if you start on this, you can't.
Right, get
Yeah.
funding, right, and that's why I was nervous.
The whole intent, and even Jeff confirmed this, and Scott talked about it today on the phone, was this grant is to get people into an SRF loan. You know, and that's why this proposal's prepared. It's gonna go to Lansing. Lansing's gonna say, no, we don't like it, or yes, it does make sense. You are addressing the I&I problem. You are addressing the aging infrastructure problem. We will approve it. Then Giffords will go out and do the study, do the research, and give us cost estimates. And then they'll submit an application to the SRF loan fund. And I believe it currently is 2.5% interest over 20 years. You have to be accepted under the SRF loan, which you could be denied. So, I mean, I just want to make sure that you guys review this. It is, I mean, we're committing to future funds, whether it be a loan or some other means of financing this, or maybe we have enough cash in the fund balance, in the equipment replacement fund to do the items that are listed. I mean, we do have some money, we're all aware of that here. But I think that we've hit a point now where pushing it off and pushing off some of these items just isn't gonna happen anymore. I know I pushed off the generator for the 4 years I've been on council because we don't have the cash to pay it. Dave, it probably came up to you, and it might have even come up
No,
under
we
your.
got that one generator
Yeah.
to hold us over,
So,
but that's getting old.
When I was on Lake, what they wanted is, they wanted automatic transfer gear down there. And when we got the price to do automatic transfer gear, it was astronomical. And we said, no way, you know, a guy can go down there, you have a power failure, they're within 15 minutes of the plant. In 15 minutes, you're not gonna have any catastrophe down there. And so I was able to convince them that, no, it's really not needed. And so they bought it for 4 years that I was on it.
and let me back up just to clarify, they haven't said the generator is bad. I used a generator. What they do want is the automatic
Yeah,
transfer
transfer,
switch.
sure.
I'm sorry if I misspoke on that. I just referenced that as the generator. But it was identified, and I'm assuming that might be something that does come up, So anyway, we're not gonna make a motion tonight. I'd like to look at this document before I say yes to it. And then I would like this back on the agenda the next meeting, if possible. And please, I will include the 7-page document for your review, and make sure you review what's included in here. Any other questions, you can bring them, make a note and bring them back up at the next meeting. Okay?
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Or feel free to call me too if you have any.
Okay, next agenda item, approval of DPW cargo van purchase. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, DPW Supervisor Ed Saratowski, this is your agenda item.
Beginning of the month, I sent out some letters to 4 different dealerships in regards to getting some prices on a new van and replace the one we have. And we got 2 back, one from Signature Ford, the other one from Sarah Buick GMC over in Roman. Looks like Signature's the cheapest, it's all through the state purchasing plan. You have 2 options, you can either buy it on time, 5 payments, or you can just pay for it outright.
Thank you. Joe and I looked at the budget, just to let everyone know what we approved for in our budget. The lease payment that we approved with interest was $43,1142 a month, or I'm sorry, a year, for 5 years. So with this lease payment, we would have to do a budget amendment, because it's an additional $1,500 a year. If we paid that was what we approved in the budget, was to lease it for that amount. If we were to buy it cash-wise, we thought it would be around $20,000, which we would only need a budget. If we were to buy it cash, we approved $20,000. So we would need a budget amendment for an increase of $500, $531 to be exact. So it isn't over the amount that we budgeted, and it's up to council whether we want to go ahead and do the lease, which is gonna be
Spread out 5 years, or
Correct.
to purchase it all in 1 year.
Right. So if we did the lease, it'd be an increase of $1,500. If we purchased it, it would be a one-time increase of $500 too.
Is that 1,500 a year?
No, total.
1,500 total?
Yes. So it's up to council.
Did we put in the lease payment in here?
Yes.
I don't remember it in the budget, I don't have
In
my.
the budget, yeah, it's in the
Yes.
budget,
Okay.
2 places.
In other words, paying for it right now, Fred, we're saving about $1,000.
$1,000 over 5 years. Yes.
Well, you put in the lease payment in the budget, you never put the 20,000.
We
Where'd
did
you
not.
put the
We-
20,000?
The 20,000 is in there, because you have to capitalize it out in the first year.
Oh, I see, okay, I see what you're saying.
So we capitalized it out at a $20,000.
You know, thing I like about paying cash on the thing is,
You
you
say,
know where you stand then. You know exactly where your budget is, you know where it is for next year.
well, you still know this.
Well, yeah,
They're
but-
set payments, they're the same all, every year for 5 years,
And then
just like the big.
we
big
still
truck.
keep it. Right? You
Yeah,
don't-
after the
Oh,
lease,
yeah,
you
the
owe
lease
$1.
is up. $1
And then
you buy it out.
At the end of the lease.
I like the idea of just paying cash for it. And saving the money itself, so, because we're gonna need something else eventually anyhow, so, that's the way I see it.
Anything else?
Of course, I have something to say.
That's
It's about money. Are you sure that the principal payment's in here and that's not the dump truck? That's not, okay.
They're both in there.
They're both in there, okay. I would agree with trustee Wolick about paying cash instead of financing it. Did we have anything in here for the sale of the used one?
Yep, there's 1,500.
There's
Oh,
already-
no, not the used van.
They're gonna
Only
sell the
dump truck.
used one, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, it could be that $500 increase could go away or be offset.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume you're gonna get at least $500 for each van. I mean, hopefully there's somebody out there that'll pay $500.
What year is the one we got, Ed?
2,000.
You didn't see the price to trade in, right?
No.
The question I have, did we also figure an extended warranty on this? I know we have the 36.
No, there wasn't other additional warranty, just what comes from the factory.
Just what comes in the factory? Did we investigate what it would cost us for the additional warranty? My reason for that being, how many miles have we got on the low van, Ed?
Probably 70,000 maybe.
70,000?
Well, the additional warranty would be the same either way, because you purchase that up front anyway.
That's what I mean, but
I
that's
mean,
the
you
additional
would do it if
cost.
you leased it, or you would do it if you purchased it.
Yeah, but why, I'm looking at the additional cost for it. I know that when we get ours, we'd always get the extended warranty. It takes it out to 120,000 miles, like that.
Well, I know that you usually, in a typical vehicle purchase, you do get extended warranty stuff sent to you when the manufacturer warranty is starting to be null
Yeah,
and
but
void.
that's not from the manufacturer, that's from a third party.
Right.
Yeah, for a company.
I just bought a car last week and they tried to sell us on the extended warranty. And what that dealer said was, you get it cheaper if you buy it now than you would, let's say, when in 3 years, 36,000 miles comes up.
Exactly.
But this is through the government bid program, and if
Yeah.
that's not available,
That's not available.
then
that's it.
it's null and void,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, just a thought.
Right.
The only thing I want to know is why didn't the other two companies that are local bid where his signature for it
That's
out
the way
of?
they are. Sometimes you get bids and sometimes you don't.
Okay,
It says a Wausau.
I can't make a bid.
you're right. If they don't want to sell us a van, I
The
don't.
last time we bought that van, we bought it from Fred Grandy. I was really surprised he didn't bid.
Yeah.
But this is on a state contract, Ed? You know, we.
Signature handles those state contracts, that may be why he didn't bid, because he may not be part of that.
Any bidding we've ever done, we've never been able to beat the, as I recall, we never beat the state contracts, have we, on police cars? or-
Not that I know of.
Mainly on police cars.
No, there's vehicles set out there for government use, and that's the one.
That's why you may have a tough time getting bids,
Because you look at the difference that Sarah's bid, it's $30-some thousand for that van.
Right.
And I
but
see
that is a better van, but.
their cutoff too is tomorrow.
Well. we won't
You're
go
the
down that.
biased.
I used
We're
to
a little
believe that.
biased.
Yeah,
So with that
I can still see it.
in line, I think we should just go with it and pay cash for it and have it over. And if we want to buy a warranty later for Mr. Feller's concern, I think we should do it.
You have a
I'm sure Ed
recommendation?
can call and find out if there is one available and let us know for our next
What's
meeting,
that?
an extended warranty if there is
I
one
could ask him
available.
tomorrow, because I need to tell him by tomorrow anyway.
Right.
Joe, do you have a recommendation, do you feel we should go lease or cash?
It's my preference to go lease. We've got some other expenditures, we've got the DDA bond payment that will be coming up soon. But you can look at it just the opposite way too, you know, if we
The
just pay it
debt
off
would have
now,
reimbursed
It'll
We'll
get
have
us
the money
done,
for the DDA
and then
next year.
everything else,
Yeah, there won't be that
will be
expense next year.
DDA, can be applied to it, so.
From a total budget, well, at least a general budget, how will we run? Plus, minus?
This'll throw you into a minus, but you'll have to do a budget amendment
That
either
money
way.
should be coming out of equipment rental funds too.
Because we did just budget for a lease payment, we did
Right.
not budget for the entire cash
So
purchase. So it'll be an $1,800 or $18,000 difference in our budget.
So it costs us $1,000 a year, $1,000 over the whole life of it to go for 5 years.
1,500, right.
1,500.
Well, 1,000 is the difference, correct.
The difference between the increases.
What I'm saying is if we pay cash, we save $1,000 over 5 years or 1,500 over 5 years.
It's gonna be more than that, because there's some paperwork that you gotta pay for also. Isn't it $400 for the application fee?
What, the title, tax,
No,
and stuff?
it's for setting up that lease payment through Ford. you gotta-
Oh,
that
for
one
leasing,
time?
not paying
Yeah.
cash, you're
Yeah, I
talking.
think it's $429 for that one time.
425
Processing.
per transaction.
Is it 425?
So it isn't
So it's
much.
closer to
1,500.
1,500. Right, so it's $200 a year, right? No, 300. Do you know what color? Because there are 4 different colors there.
What color do you want?
Pink.
I told you what color I wanted. It's not available. They have
Probably
white,
gonna get-
black, red, or school bus yellow.
God, probably gonna be red like the rest of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And one,
We had yellow for years and that just didn't cut the mustard.
It'll cut the ketchup now.
Yeah, there you go.
You get the Pueblo Gold to cut the mustard.
Yellow got by canary seed.
Okay, so any other comments from council? There's a motion there. I believe that motion is to pay cash for it, correct?
I so will resolve to award the bid of the purchase of a 2012 Ford cargo van from Signature Ford at a cost of $20,531, and authorize the village clerk to sign any documents required in conjunction with this purchase.
Motion by Mr. Wallach. Is there a second?
Support.
Support, Mr. Ballard, is that right? Mr. Ballard, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Wallach,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Yes.
Conan, Audi,
yes.
Cooper.
Yes. Motion
And you
passes.
bring a budget
And I will
amendment
bring a
back
budget
to the next-
To
amendment.
the next meeting. Just so everyone remembers, we will have a budget amendment then at our next meeting.
Not 1,000.
Thank you, Mr. Sherachowski.
Yeah, we will. Right.
Next agenda item is downtown sidewalk repair Eurotech. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, Street Administrator Ballard, this is your agenda item.
Okay, well, 2 weeks ago, Andy and I met with Eurotech, and they've got a product out there that really, it makes sense. It's like a mud jacking, only it's a polymer that they put in, and it actually compacts the ground to stop the ground from settling again. He showed us what he could do, he showed us some videos and things like that, did not demonstrate it, but, so I told Andy, I said, we'll see what the difference between that and mud jacking would be, because we've got some areas around town that you've got like a 2-inch settling of the sidewalk. I took him over on Fair Street over there, when I happened to trip last year, and I showed him that one, and there's a couple more places in there. And you can actually see when they drill a hole in the cement on the sidewalk, and they bring it up, you can actually see that they put a certain amount underneath there, and it blows it up. And when it, I don't mean blows it up, but it lifts the sidewalk right up even, and it looks like a very nice, it's a nice looking job. When they get done, they just put some hydraulic cement in the hole, they break off the excess, dig it out, put some hydraulic cement in the hole, and that's all you see is a little round circle in it, and it saves a lot. And in looking at this, and then looking at the pricing of remove and replace, and not only that, but the time that it would take, the disruption of business to our resident, or to our businesses downtown, boy, I tell you, it looks good. It really does. We have just a couple of, ideas here. We had a concrete raising company that could do 549 linear feet of concrete, and at prevailing wage, like for Davis Bacon or whatever, at $5,600. Got a hold of Uritech, and Uritech came in with, same thing with, let's see, gotta make sure here. The prevailing wage, the Davis-Bacon, project at, $3,750 for the same thing. So right there, you've got a $2,000 savings. Now, if we can get this past CDBG, that could be a way to go. He did say that he would tell us if it's not worth doing, when I met him out there on the street, said if it's not worth doing, he's gonna tell you, no, you're better off to, remove and replace. And what he saw at our downtown area, and what he saw, the couple spots that we showed it, he says, we can take care of that like nothing. He says, we'd probably be in here a day doing the whole thing. Downtown, like, he says, we're around town, take them about maybe a day. Downtown, he says it may take them a day, day and a half, tops. And he'd bring it right up to level, and I asked him the guarantee, and his guarantee was, what on that? 3 years, I think?
Yeah, I think it was 3 years on the
He said,
material.
3 years on material. He says, after 3 years, that material fails, he says, we'll come back and redo it, no problem.
They'll redo it with theirs, or they'll redo it with concrete?
No, they'll redo it theirs. He said,
Okay.
we will guarantee ours. He had a list of, Uritech had a list of people he had worked for, many federal governments, many universities. NASA they had to do some leveling out there, and they did some leveling. MDOT, they do a lot for securing bridges at MDOT, along with MDOT. It looks like a real good technology. And the problem is they are the alternative to mud jacking, where I have kind of read some things on mud jacking and talked to some people. And the problem that you have is that when you take the mud and you put it underneath there, you don't really compact the earth enough. And that's where you get the movement of cement, is the earth has not been, or the base is not compacted long enough. So if you just dump cement under it, just drill a hole and shoot some cement under it, are you really, you're putting the cement where the hole is, and that's all. Where with the foam, I guess if you want to call it that, but it's a polymer, it goes down and it expands against it, and it actually compacts the earth. And it mixes with the particles of earth, and it compacts it so that you have a good base, which makes a lot of sense to me. It does. But anyway, I just thought the council would like to know about it.
Where does the cement fit in then? When you said, is that just to fill in
That's
the
just to
hole?
That's to fill in the hole that they'll
Okay.
drill. They'll drill. It looked to me, depending on the size and what you're doing, it looked to me like they might drill maybe 1.1/8 hole in the top of the concrete, and that's what they put their fitting into, and to inject the polymer.
Mhm.
Okay, and then when it comes off, of course, it starts to fill, and it comes off the hole a little bit. Well, they shave it off, and they plug it up, underneath, and then they plug it up with some hydraulic cement. It's the finish coat so that you don't have, a hole in your sidewalk.
Right. Is their product warranted against cracking for the parts that aren't where the polymer went in at? The parts that aren't protected, the regular soil?
Go ahead.
I was saying, I don't think you really have any cracking with them because they're just going to be filling in underneath the sidewalk.
Right.
So, I mean, they're just guaranteeing their material is going to lift it and keep it
Okay.
in place where it should be.
Right. Did you have Ed in the presentation too?
Yes.
Did I see it? Yeah.
There was another part there he's forgetting about too, is where they had a couple manholes that had some major leaks into them,
Yeah.
I. They sprayed that stuff on the outside and sealed them right off.
Okay.
And water was actually running in when they did that.
Yeah, I mean pouring in.
And
Really?
Well, that's all we need to do then.
there you go.
There you go. I said, why should we
Solve
seal
the
this
whole
stuff?
line problem.
Yeah.
Hey, toss this book right out.
No, I like the idea that we're not, if this works, that we don't have downtown torn up for a week.
Yeah.
We can-
Yeah.
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 Because we don't-
Even if the cost was the same, I think it might be worth it just because you're
Of the process.
making a mess out of it.
Correct.
Right.
And disrupting the businesses.
Right.
Now, here's the thing that I'm looking at. If we can get this through CDBG, that this is gonna be, it's gonna be very advantageous to us. It's going to be. Because in that, when we get to our, well, the other part of the sidewalk program is, we've measured out 9,054 square feet. We've got ideas from Giffords Webster between $4 and $5.50. So you're talking anywhere from 36,000 to 55,000, we're gonna say, okay? For what we're doing here, okay? They do it by the linear foot. When you rip and tear, you do it by the square foot, okay? I don't know, it's up to council. We do have two bids here.
So this 549 linear feet, what is that covering, just the downtown?
That's the
That's the downtown.
Okay,
limits.
I wanna make sure.
The only issue that I see with this, with CDBG is Eurotech is so,
You,
well, no, just, they're so exclusive. There's not like 3 other companies that we're gonna be able to go out and get bids for because they are the company that does this. I talked to Carrie from the county. She was here on Friday. She went with Ed to take pictures of all the houses and the businesses at the sidewalks that we want to replace are in front of. I showed her the sinking sidewalks downtown so she understood what we were talking about. She absolutely agrees, yes, it's a trip hazard, yeah, it certainly needs to be fixed. Doesn't mean just because she agrees with me that HUD's going to agree with us. The biggest problem that I see with that was when we had to get the application in, I had Scott at Giffords fill out the application for me because I'm not a sidewalk engineer, I don't know anything about cement. And when he filled it out, the application itself says tear out and replace. We might have an issue with that with the county. Because when I talked to her and I said we have this Eurotech, that was what prompted my call to the county on Friday, was because I wanted them to understand that we're looking at options, we're trying to figure out the best way to do this. And she says, well, no, I thought that was a tear out and repair. And I said, no, I think and it doesn't say it on the application. So that might be a hindrance to us. This might be something that we pull out of that CDBG program and pay for out of the street. If need be, if it's gonna save that kind of money, if it's not that expensive. We still have money we have to spend with CDBG. There's money that has to be spent, we've gotta spend it. So right now, because we can't enter into any contracts until after July 1st, actually after July 10th, because that's when our next county meeting is. We can't enter into any contracts, we can't sign anything. Getting pricing is not, it's not a big deal because we're just getting our ducks in a row so we can move forward as soon as we can. But I will talk to the county tomorrow and explain to them, look, this is, it's gonna save, what, $2,000 or so to do it this way. It's
No,
Oh,
that
still.
was mud jacking. That was versus mud jacking. That's still not a tear out.
project was still even cheaper
A
than.
tear
Oh,
out.
I'm sorry,
A tear out's
Yeah.
probably even way more.
I thought you
Oh,
said
God.
linear feet of concrete with the Davis Bacon, that's what I wrote down. And your
This,
5,600 was for concrete.
But that was mud jacking, for example.
that's the mud jack.
And then the
Oh, I wrote down
Eurotech,
The
concrete.
Eurotech was
$37.50.
$37.50.
With the polymer. And you don't have a quote, correct me if I'm wrong, on tear out.
No,
Oh, okay. I wrote that.
I mean, obviously, if we can do this and, again, save the businesses from having that mess in front, I agree, and especially during the summertime and the flea market and the fair and all the events downtown, this would be a better way to go, as long as CDBG does not have a problem with not being able to get 3 competitive bids. And if we can alter the application, if that application's fine and that's just the way we're doing it, but that, again, is not, that's the way it's at the county.
So we can't do anything anyways until after July 10th, which I think would be after our next council meeting.
Yeah,
So
that's
we can
me,
put it
something
to discuss again at our next council meeting. We'll have more information from CDBG. Michelle and I and Joe, are you going to that CDBG meeting?
I'm hoping to.
Okay,
I
the
called
3 of
them.
us are gonna be there, so
Yeah.
we'll make sure that Mike and Carrie are there. We'll discuss it with them. And
Here.
I'm sure Michelle will talk to them in the meantime as well, so we can update everyone what's going on at our next meeting.
Lyle, was there any way of putting those holes in the cracks? I know we briefly talked about that. It won't fit in the cracks.
No, what they do is because you're lifting a piece of concrete like this, okay? That's right now like this, all right? You drill it over here, you know, where's it gonna go? It's gonna squirt out the side, I'm assuming. When we saw the pictures, then, if you remember right, they kind of came up and they were in the sidewalk. Looked like they were, you know, like if your deal's sitting like this, okay? They drove back here, if this is sunk, they drove back here. And they would take this and that would actually lift this side of the concrete up low. All
I
right?
think it's a great idea.
So personally, you know, I'm under the belief, I never told a man how to do his work, as long as I'm satisfied with when it's done. And so where they put the hole, I really don't care. Let's level these sidewalks off or somebody breaks their neck.
Ed, you would endorse it as well?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a pretty good product. It looks
Okay.
real good.
Yeah, one more quick question. How does it work with like the salt? Because that'll be like, I mean, you guys do salt
It's,
downtown. Is that a problem with the
It
polymer?
says pretty much chemical resistant to everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's resistant to water sucking into, you know, like your, what they call that, great stuff, the foam.
Oh, yes.
Okay, you know, how that stuff kind of turns arid, I guess you want to call it. This doesn't do that. This actually, it's actually like a,
It's a closed cell.
yeah, it's a closed cell phone, that's what I want to say, thanks.
The other one's an open cell.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions for Lynn?
Not on the raising, but on the sidewalk by the cozy corner. When will we be bidding that? When do you
Can't do
have an
anything
idea?
till after
After
the
the
10th.
next, after the CDBG meeting.
After the first meeting in
Yeah.
July, I'll have stuff here so that.
This has been on the burner now for a couple of years. and
If that's not
I
gonna
mean-
happen right away, I'd like to fix that right away, before the fair, before anybody starts tripping.
Oh, fix it.
You're
I don't
talking
know,
about
maybe-
I'm talking about we're gonna replace the
Yes.
sidewalks by the,
By
Cozy.
corner.
Yes.
and I'm just trying to get an idea of when that will be done. I'm being asked
Well, we're
that.
gonna, well,
We just can't
the
afford it.
process
Yeah.
would be first meeting in
July.
July.
July 9th.
We will have something from CDBG, I take it?
I'm sorry.
We will have something from CDBG, I take it?
I hope.
Because it's my intention to
Confidence.
put that out to bid, first meeting in July, to start it, so that sometime in September, we're gonna have sidewalks far out of it.
Well, if you're looking at September, then we're gonna have to
We'll
let
have to
Ed,
fix
have
it,
Ed
yes.
fix that
Exactly, just
before,
don't fix it.
before the fair, yeah.
Fix it.
I mean, are you talking cement, Ed, or are you talking like a cold patch?
No,
just to-
put cement in there,
Big
Okay.
ones, but,
because they're asking about it, and I'm
Yeah.
going like, you know, I gotta get with you guys to find out what's going on with that project.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
and it
it's
sounds like
really
we're
no
talking quite a
sense
few months
spending the
away.
money,
Yeah, just
just
coordinate
throw
it
it
out.
out.
So if you repair it when they do the sidewalks, chances are they'll tear it out and do it
Turn it
again.
ripped
Yeah.
out.
Why would, if you were getting the bids out in July, why would you shoot for September?
Because by the time you go through the fair, you've gotta, if you get them out in July, you're not gonna start in August. Okay, so it's gonna be after the fair, and the fair is 13th to the 19th.
Look how quick they're doing Spencer Street.
Yeah, but it
for
takes a
crying
couple
out
weeks
loud.
for them to
Yeah,
get
but
even
it's
the
not
bids to get
Dave's
them back.
Pardon?
That's not Dave's thinking either.
No.
You're probably looking more like October by the time you bid it all out and everything.
Probably.
It's gotta be done and billed and into CDBG by December. Early December, how about we say November, just to keep everybody in check.
I'll let you deal with it.
Anything else on the sidewalk project? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next agenda item. Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Tree bids, DTE tree grant, are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, Street Administrator Ballard, this is your agenda item again.
Just keep right going. Okay, we have received our grant from GTE. I have been, did I say it right, GTE?
DTE.
DTE, well, mostly, you know, the electric guys. Anyway, what I would like to do tonight is get permission from the council to put out for bid using the packet that we've used prior to, and the same bidders, to get our trees going. So with that, we have received an award of $2,000. We budgeted
We budgeted 2,000,
$2,000.
in each street.
Right,
You got
in each.
2,000 in local, you got 2,000 in major.
Right.
The first thing you gotta do is get the tree, permitted tree list. And make sure that all of the trees that you're selecting falls within the qualification of those trees.
Correct. That's why Michelle pulled the last packet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that whole, I'm not sure if that packet had the tree list, that's in file.
Okay, now the permitted trees we're talking about is by our planning commission, I take it, is that correct?
No,
Or is it by the grants? Okay.
Tree committee.
the tree committee
committee.
put that together.
Mr. Clark, are you still on that tree committee?
Still have a tree committee.
Is
Yes,
that
I am.
my question, is there still a tree
I've not
committee?
had a meeting in some time.
Is it you, Nancy?
It was Carol
It
Moore.
was Carol Moore.
Yeah.
She's gone.
It's Kathy, so, yeah,
I'll help if you need help on it.
okay.
What we'll do is,
Call
the
me
tree
and Joe.
committee can get together, decide what type we're gonna need.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to, whoever you're gonna contract to bring them in and put them in, is gonna have to know what.
Exactly,
What trees are
that's what I
permitted.
wanna do, I wanna know how many, what can we get, bid them out per tree, at so much a tree, up to X amount of dollars, and that's what we're gonna put in. Where we have to put them in, I know we've had some that are gone, that have been taken out, there should be replacement there.
Right now's a logical time with Spencer, Spencer needs trees.
Right. But you have to be very careful in Spencer because, you've got sewer lines, you've got water lines, and then you've got the areas.
Both sides are taken now.
That's right.
You got sewer on one, and then you got
Water.
water and gas on the other.
Right, so,
Is that typical of all the streets?
Not technically where water lines are running.
So you can you guide the tree committee
Oh, yeah.
as to where,
okay.
What about the phase
You're going on
3?
the tree committee.
otherwise we'll put them all right in front
Phase-
of the office right here?
Phase 3 subdivision needs trees. I
Yes.
see there was a couple residents planting trees down there.
A few people have taken it upon
Yeah,
themselves to
taking it
plant
upon
their own.
themselves, and I'd like to go in.
So the tree committee will meet before.
Yes.
Steve, you wanna check, see if the tree committee is still solvent? Shoot, Nancy was in today.
Yeah,
I'll ask Nancy if she still wants to be
In
sure
there?
on it.
I mentioned that to her, gosh, within the last year, I think. I believe she said she was still interested, but,
But
you
nobody
know,
met.
but we haven't had any
She only lives
projects.
behind me, I'll see.
Okay, you can go
Go
down at her
across the
fence.
fence,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
Throw a rock at her house.
She still wants to
Okay.
plant trees. That's been her number one goal, so.
Now, one of the things that the grant did call for is for some participation, and we put down the Boy Scouts. I have yet to find a Boy Scout troop in this town. I don't think we have one.
Adam
It's under
Kerr,
5.
Adam Kerr's with.
well, he's going for Eagle Scout. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah,
And
he was
it-
just here the other day.
Yes, Chris, his dad.
Call Mr. Andrews.
Yeah, don't they meet at the KSC hall?
And
Dave
Dave
Andrews.
They,
Andrews.
they meet at the elementary school.
Dave
Yeah.
Andrews
Dave Andrews.
was the
Troop 40.
Armada Boy Scout leader.
And Curtis had a lot to do with that.
You have that,
too.
Matt?
Now it's
Lyle.
Dave Andrews.
Matt has a flyer right there at
Do you?
the Boy Scouts,
Thank you.
so.
Okay, we'll take that, we'll get a hold of them for some watering and things
So
like
you're gonna
that.
bring this back to your
I
next
will bring
meeting?
it back,
Thank you.
there will be a statement, I will not be at the next meeting.
Okay,
I will be gone.
all right, well,
As part of your bid, though, are you talking about having this company plant the trees and everything?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
I know in the past we've used the DPW, but.
right, but if you have
Yes,
this.
it is.
it is, it's a lot of work.
And not only that, but if they bring them in and plant them,
They warranty.
They
they warranty them, all right? And then they'll do the first watering on them, and then I guess we take it from
Okay.
there. Okay, Rhoda,
Good.
Any other
that's all
questions?
I got.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ballard. Next agenda item, fee review. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, village treasurer and clerk, this is your agenda item.
Go ahead.
I gave you, as your backup, a memo from Becky, our clerical gal. we pulled this off the last agenda because there was some clarification that needed to be done. The first item that she talks about is the one that I'm gonna stick with, because the second item that she talks about, we found after I talked to Jeff today that it is covered in our property maintenance code. So that is kind of a moot point. What we're gonna discuss tonight is driveway approaches. You have to pull a permit for a driveway approach. I'm probably gonna mess this up because I messed it up really bad today. I was trying to talk to Jeff too, but, the village charges a minimum fee of $20 for a driveway approach. They're charged by lineal feet. If Dennis inspects a driveway approach, his cost is $30, so it's costing us. It doesn't allow us to make up like our administrative costs or anything else. So after I talked to Jeff today and I talked to Becky and we tried to get everything, so it covers our fees, the recommendation is to increase the minimum permit fee for driveway approaches to $35. That will cover, you know, if Dennis goes and inspects, it will also cover a little bit of the administrative costs that are associated with it. If, you know, people don't pay their bills, that goes to their taxes, that involves Joe having to do some extra on that. So the recommendation is just to increase the permit fee to $35 for driveway approaches.
And we set that fee here?
Well, that's what the resolution will do.
Okay.
So yes, I asked Jeff, if, you know, because we cover things like lawn mowing and that and ordinances, and he says this, no, it's just a permit fee, you can do that by resolution.
Do you have the resolution now, or are we gonna bring it to the next
I
meeting?
gave it was on a separate sheet, actually, it's just to
Oh.
increase the minimum permit fee for driveway approaches to
I'll
$35.
make a motion to increase the minimum permit fee for driveway approaches to $35.
Motion by Mr. Sturr, is there a second?
Support?
Support by Mr. Audi. Any other discussion? Do we have to do a roll call because it is a change?
Yes,
More discussion?
yes. I don't think that's fine. You're gonna come back, and I know in the other municipalities, they take the state minimum, okay, or the state maximum. I say we should be up around $50. That way there, we're gonna recoup all of our permit for filing, all of our administration. That's too cheap. That should be a $50 permit fee.
That's up to council to set the fee.
Do we know what other municipalities charge? Does
That was the
anyone?
first number I thought of.
No, I mean,
read that.
when Becky looked back into the last 3 years, she says there was one permit, less than $30 issued each of the last 3 years. I don't know that this is something that, I mean, it obviously doesn't happen often, you know, I mean, but at least 1 or 2 times a year it's gonna happen. So, it's up to council how they want, you know, how high they want to set the permit fee.
How often do we review Dennis's wages? Because that would be
Every
the
budget.
only thing that we would need to worry about.
Yeah, every year.
No,
We're
you've
not
got,
the permit.
No, he
Right.
said, yeah, the permit
Right.
fees are,
Well, this is only a problem when they don't have a big
Right.
driveway.
yeah,
Just a small
it's
one.
not,
which
yeah,
is
it's
once
not
in
every
3
time.
year- Once
Well,
a year for 3 years.
according to what Becky's
But
research
other than that,
showed.
we're recouping our
Yes,
costs,
yeah,
or we assume we are.
yeah.
Well, we haven't been, that's what we're gonna
Well-
try to
Are we
change.
even recouping that cost?
We were only charging $20 and it was costing us
But
$30.
some of them might have been 25, 30, 35 based upon linear.
She said there was one permit less than $30
Okay.
issued each year, so only one a year for the last 3 years. I mean, it was 3, but total. There's not many. It doesn't happen often.
But again, we're talking approaches, we're not talking drive.
No, we're talking the driveway
Between
approach.
the- Between the sidewalk,
and the street.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's not, yeah.
Any other discussion? We have a motion already on the floor. Do we want to do a roll call because it's a change to the fee?
Heard. Okay. Sturrit,
Yes.
Audi,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Wolak,
Yes.
Baylor,
No,
Clark,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Next agenda item is the Moving Sewer Investment Fund. Are there any public comments? I asked if you wanted to change the agenda item. That's the agenda item I was told. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, I do believe this is Treasurer Adair's.
Recently, I know you guys heard me say that Mike and I need to talk on the investment thing based on some of the projects that he's got going in with this S2 grant. That, that could affect that too. We've had it invested through First Southwest Clearinghouse. The brokerage was Brookstone. It's approximately $220-some thousand, $221,000. And coincidentally, the auditor called me today and said, the last bid and sale on the investment, you're going to have to recall it because they are not a Michigan-based brokerage. So if you're not a Michigan-based brokerage, you can't handle municipal funds in that state. So I talked with First Southwest today. We have 3 options. We can reinvest it, we can move it, we can call it and cash it out. Given the things that Michael needs to do here in the near future, I checked with KPAC Bank and they said our best bet would be a short-term money market. That way it's liquid at any point that he needs it. So I will be moving that money to KPAC as soon as they give me a good closing date to do that.
What kind of interest?
2.5, or 0.25, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah, their money.
Where's that at?
Let's move everything.
So it's not the best interest, but,
No.
it's just so risky out there in the market right now.
That's why
We got stuff going on.
We need access to the money based on what this grant is going to come back with. Anyways, we don't want to tie our funds up and then get hit with
Right.
fees in addition to
Right. So,
everything else.
do we have to make a motion to allow you to move it, or?
I just,
No.
no, it just hit the minutes that this is what I'm doing, doing it where
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Upcoming agenda items then, we have the S2 grant application with the 7-page document attached. Budget amendment for the cargo van and downtown sidewalk repair. Do you want to put down for a CDBG update then too, or will we just discuss it under the downtown sidewalk repair?
I'll just put it under that.
Okay, slash
Madam
CDBG.
President, could we put down the tree planting, I guess, or
Tree
bids?
committee update, or
Tree committee update, right, that, I would like that second meeting in July.
Okay, any other upcoming agenda items? Hearing none, any other citizen comments? Any citizen comments? Hearing none, council comments? Everyone, please make sure that you sign your bills. Marv and Harry, you do have bills to sign as well.
Okay.
Everyone else, please make sure you sign your bills before you go. Are there any other council comments?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes.
One thing I would like to say is that James P. Contracting is doing a terrific job on Spencer Street. At the present time, I expect a little bit of overage from our original contract, but I do not expect large numbers. When I say a little bit of overage, I'm going to say probably in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000 overage. For some extra work that they had to do, that they found a stump underneath the sidewalk that had to be taken out, so the sidewalk had to be removed. They found, found a cement approach that was there years ago, and it was there, so they had to put that back in cement, and they called it asphalt on the print, so it's one of those unforeseen things. As far as any large items, I see no large items coming up. And the first pay application's been processed by the engineers and all quantities, and they've agreed on all the quantities, so we will be getting that for the next meeting.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Hearing none. Any community events? Concerts in the park this Wednesday,
Yep.
7 o'clock. I have been told that, I forgot his first name, Stone, who's running for sheriff, is going to be making a brief appearance. If anyone wants to introduce themselves to him, he will be making an appearance at Concerts in the Park on Wednesday night at 7.
Are concerts in the park advertised on the radio somewhere? Because my brother who lives in Sterling Heights mentioned who was performing last
She
Wednesday.
has a Facebook page.
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
put together a Facebook page, which is fantastic, so I'm not on Facebook, but anyway, it is, you could probably get it.
I didn't know if it was local radio, though. I was surprised that he told me who was performing. And that's great that he's able to find out.
That band last Wednesday was really good. Yeah, good
It's
night.
look good.
Yeah, it was hot, though. It was a good band. So,
Any other community events? Hearing none, we don't have a closed session tonight. It is now 8:03. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Baylor, support by Mr. Wallach. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
council, before you get